All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Walter Lanier, pastor of the Progressive Baptist Church of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and also the CEO of the Great Lakes Urban Empowerment Solutions, an advocacy think tank that works to build coalitions and make a better Milwaukee and beyond. We have come together today, students, staff, labor, faith, community leaders, and alumni for a very simple reason. We all have a very deep and profound love for this institution, MATC, and its ability and its potential to make a difference here in this city in the Midwest. We have great confidence in its potential, but not confidence in what's happening now. For far too long, the institution has kind of been putting its head in the ground regarding issues relative to race and retaliation and toxic culture. We have been working for a long time to cultivate relationship, to work alongside the institution, but as is the tradition of American society and American culture, those who speak up with love for institutions are often mocked and marginalized and diminished and set to the side. And so we're here in particular to talk about the culture of retaliation and about the 4 employees who were let go and the removal of the Multicultural Center. And so I'm joined by Mark Thompson. I'm also joined by alumni Sam Alford, also joined by Milwaukee Area Labor Council President Pam Fenton, and hopefully Minister Greg Lewis as well from Souls to the Polls. So I'm going to give the floor to Mark, and then we'll proceed to share some different remarks with you all. And we look forward to working together effectively to make this institution great. But that is the only way it'll happen. It will not happen by diminishing diversity. It will not happen by stepping away from the problems that challenge us. Everybody in this circle, on this side of the camera and this side, knows that Milwaukee has challenges with issues relative to race, most segregated city in the nation. And the only way that we'll deal with those issues and become great is if we all get to the same table, deal with the difficult issues, and make a difference. But if we don't do it, we end up exactly where we are now, where there's a cost to culture, there's a cost to the institution, a cost to staff, and a cost to students. So thank you for your time and your presence. I'm now going to bring up Attorney Mark Thompson with some remarks.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you all. Thank you to the press for covering what is a very important event in our city and our county. You know, during my lifetime, what was important was that our diversity made us great. You know, when you would watch the Olympics and you would see Team USA and all of humanity was on our team, it's what made us beautiful and strong. And we were asked, and the reason we filed these lawsuits on behalf of 4 beautiful human beings that dedicated their life as student service specialists here on this campus. And hear that, student service specialists for all students. Yet they're targeted and eliminated because of their race, hiding behind our current administration's attack on DEI. Just one. I don't want to say. Annabelle Sanchez, Sonia Torres, Dervang is working at a substantially reduced rate. I mean, think about that. 16-hour pay cut. And Floyd Griffin couldn't make it today. But in June of 2025, Anthony Cruz sent a letter to Annabelle and said, I know that you are committed to MATC becoming a Hispanic serving institution because of your own journey and your own belief in our institution. Your dedication to creating mentoring programs, classroom instruction program activities, orientations, or other support always shows your support and significant positive impact on students. We have consistently observed your passion for fostering a supportive and engaging environment where students can thrive. And then you get thrown out on the street because You're part of our beautiful community. So, we are confident that the Equal Rights Division will decide this process, litigate it justly. But this is bigger than this lawsuit, right? And this administration should sit down right now and reinstate them with back wages and get on with fixing the institution and really focusing on making us truly powerful because of our diversity. Milwaukee County has to be a place, and MATC has to be a place that stands up to Trump's white power nationalism and say, no, we are not going back to 1860. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Attorney Thompson. Next, we're going to have Pam Fent from Milwaukee Area Labor Council. I also want to note that we are joined by Evelyn Martinez-Paulus, the first, basically the last diversity officer at the college, who made it her point to protect employees of color, Hispanic, Asian, Black Americans, Native Americans, and found herself at the wrong end of the culture and was terminated. So we're glad that she is joining us as well. I don't think she'll have remarks, but next we'll have Pam Fent from the Milwaukee Area Labor Council.
Good morning. As stated, I'm Pam Fent, President of the Milwaukee Area Labor Council. We represent approximately 70 different unions and councils throughout the metro Milwaukee area, and we represent 25,000 working people, such as staff at MATC. Members of Milwaukee area labor unions remain deeply concerned about the termination of 4 MATC employees, which occurred in one fell swoop. On August 19th, these individuals received termination letters signed by Dr. Cruz. Anytime there are long-term employees terminated without cause, we have questions. You just heard the glowing review of Annabelle. That was sent to her 2-3 months before this termination happened. So we have a lot of questions. In addition to concern for this loss of employment by 4 people of color who each represented different constituencies at MATC's multiracial and multicultural student population, we are concerned about the loss of services to replace the Multicultural Center. Will they adequately serve students of color? Community members have attended the August, September, and October board meeting requesting a community-centered response to these dismissals. MATC administration did not reach out to the union or inform the board ahead of time, and that indicates this was a unilateral decision, and this undermines public trust. I attended a September Community Connections event at MATC and had the opportunity to ask Dr. Cruz to assure community stakeholders that there will be sufficient services to replace those that are being lost. Honestly, the response was not encouraging. The answer sounded like increased general counseling and retention services, and the loss of culturally competent ones. We are here today in solidarity, repeating the call for MATC to recommit to an improved environment for students and staff of color. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pam. In a moment, I'm going to bring up Pastor Lewis Souls to the polls. There's another constituency that Pam didn't get a chance to mention that's critically important, and that's the community. So not only was it unilateral relative to students, not only was it unilateral relative to staff, to the union, but one of the most quiet and most important voices in raising Milwaukee up as a community, and one of the most significant connecting points for the community in all of Milwaukee was actually the Multicultural Center. That was a hub of relationship It was a hub of community development, and because there was no conversation, substantive conversation with community, I don't think this administration really understands the body blow that it dealt to itself. Whenever, after I left MATC, I wanted to plug and connect with diverse communities, the very first place I would come, and people that work in community know that, is right here at MATC and to the Multicultural Department. This is arguably the most diverse building, the most diverse institution in the state of Wisconsin, and this decision is just going to wreak havoc on the foundation of relationships with community. And so, given that I'm talking about community, I also want to bring forth a man of community, Pastor Greg Lewis, holds to the quote.
Mr. Greg Lewis, I'm the president of Pastors United Community Advocacy, Inc. And I'm also the executive director of Souls for the Poles. MATC is an important place for our community. And I stand here today with my brothers and sisters from faith, labor, community, and education, because this moment is not just about employees or departments. This moment is about the soul and culture of one of Milwaukee's most important institutions, MATC. As a pastor, I've learned that the spirit of an institution shows up in how it treats people. When you see fear, confusion, retaliation, or silence, that's not just a procedural problem. It is a cultural problem. Culture always tells the truth about what an institution is really all about. When MATC dismantled its DEI and multicultural support systems, and when it terminated long-serving staff just days after a federal judgment declared the federal guidance unenforceable, that wasn't simply an administrative step, it was a statement about culture. A culture that reacts out of pressure instead of principle, out of fear instead of fairness.
Yeah.
That's right.
And let me make this clear. Students feel culture first.
Yep.
Employees feel culture first. This community feels culture first. That's why we are here today, not for a narrow or technical issue, but because we believe MATC is capable of becoming something better than what is showing right now. Milwaukee needs institutions that reflect the people, respect the people, and protect the people. MATC is at a crossroads right now, a crossroads of culture, leadership, and trust. We're calling on MATC to become a stronger institution, to commit its purpose to helping our community in a stronger way. A culture where retaliation is not normal. A culture where equity is non-negotiable. A culture where transparency is expected, not optional. A culture where students of every background are supported. A culture where employees can speak honestly without fear. A culture built on fairness, dignity, and responsibility. A culture that helps heal Milwaukee, not help divide it. This isn't about looking backwards. We're not going backwards. It's about building the MATC that Milwaukee needs today and tomorrow. An institution rooted in clarity, courage, and justice. We are standing here because we believe that can happen. We believe MATC can rise to meet this moment. And this community will keep showing up until the culture reflects the values that we all deserve. Thank you very much.
thank you to Pastor Lewis. I do also want to use another word, and that word is leadership. This should not only be seen as accountability in a press conference to raise legal issues with our which are very significant, but it's an act of leadership. Milwaukee needs strong voices that are willing to speak up in uncomfortable times. Anybody that's been here for a little while as a professional knows we have this whole thing that's called Milwaukee nice or Midwest nice, or don't rock the boat, or don't say too much, but you'll get nothing excellent, you'll get nothing great, you get nothing awesome if people don't speak up. And so we're also doing this as an act of leadership because people need to exercise their rights and speak up more boldly for things that they love and have these difficult and challenging conversations. It's only in that way that change is made. Speaking of change, I want to bring up one of my favorite change makers, former student of MATC, Sam Alford.
You guys fired you fired my family. As you know, whatever your alma mater may be or college you went to, there are certain safe spaces. Multicultural Office was a safe space. I'm an alumni, I'm a community organizer. And I just want to say, Mr. Cruz, you didn't build this house. You inherited this house. You didn't make this family. It's a blended family. And I would even speak to Cruz's family. His very ancestors, his grandmother, his grandfather would have been disenfranchised by this current administration. So it's a huge hypocritical, contrasting moment happening here. You bring in a piece of Florida weather that we don't like. We would have rather took some sunlight. But there's a climate that President Cruz here is bringing with him that we don't ascribe to. He is violent. Firing these 4 people is violence. Structural violence is defined by using laws or institutions to discriminate against people. In plain English, a bank that you go to get a loan for, they discriminate against you because you want the loan because you're a person of color. Certain laws or police reinforcement, that's structural violence. So not only is this morally wrong, it's morally abusive. He abused 4 people who actually happen to be healers. And administration and leadership is such siloed out and so out of touch, they didn't know that they cut off the very safe space that students needed. As a student organizer, former president of Black Student Union, a former budget chair for the whole district, the student union here, we built the food pantry with Walter Lanier. We said we needed housing. We had the initiatives that the leadership didn't even have the forethought to see it then. It's analogous to parents who are so busy in their own life, they don't know what's going on with their own kids. So if President Cruz is something like a stepfather who just moved into the house, he has no cultural context for what happens in his house. You're talking about 100+ years of history maligned in less than 1 year. This is more than legal action. But I'm actually happy that President Cruz, in a weird way, not happy that it was good, but it just highlighted. Because I gotta say to the media, some of even the media recording us right now, these cameramen may have went here to go to school. But it also just highlights a pattern of practice that not all the MATC, because it's great staff, it's great people who do this, but how often is MATC in the media highlighted in the positive? We're here not because we hate MATC, we love it. We love it so much we hold it to a higher standard.
That's right.
So, last thing for administration or anybody listening, next time you see somebody tall and clean cut and look nice and saying the right things, we need to remember this moment when somebody who fit that profile didn't do the right things. I'm trying to calm down. I guess this is my last piece. Black and brown folks, we need to learn the difference between respectability politics and also we got to stop getting bamboozled by politician types, executive director types, president types who come clean saying the right things. Because what in you is telling you to love this president or this white person or person in position of power more than yourself? And we back here, we don't love positions of power, administrations, and other folks more than we love ourselves. Si se puede.
Could not say it better with more clarity than the voice of alumni and a student. I have more to say, but he has said it all. We're here because we love this institution, because we believe in the institution, the power of the institution. It's changed many lives, but it could change many more. It's not yet what it could be, but if we are serious about real conversations, serious about cultivating real community, serious about leveraging the diversity, rather than what I've heard rumors that people say that because we're diverse, we don't need to have multicultural services, which is really insanity. That's actually something that they used to say like in the 1980s. That's a real dated mindset. I've also heard, by the way, that this was a proxy to get rid of people that weren't wanted. I don't know if that's the case, but that's what I've heard. There's no clear direction. But most importantly, we are a dedicated, committed coalition to making our city better, to making this institution better, and we fully expect that it will happen because the people united are not defeated. We thank you for this time. We thank you for your attention to all that we're doing today, and we look forward to any follow-up. Take care, and God bless. Yeah. Questions?
Question, what type of response have you gotten from the university in regards to the discrimination complaint?
Well, the complaint is new. The complaint came out a week ago, so I don't know that we've gotten that response to that.
You know, under the procedure, the complaint is filed with the Equal Rights Division, and it serves it on the university. And as far as on the lawyer side, we haven't heard anything back. I mean, that is one little component of this. I mean, frankly, these 4 should not have been terminated. They should be working. There shouldn't be active complaints. And this institution can solve that in a blink of an eye. I mean, the leadership of this institution can sit down and fix this right away and end any litigation. The ERD's plenty busy.
Can you
But let me
explain?
give you remarks. When the communities of color have mobilized here together, the response has mostly been mocking and marginalization and dismissal. People have said, well, if it's not unlawful, we're not worried about it. We've been working hard. I know I have with other colleagues at least since 2021 when Dr. Amir Law left this place, and on his departure, we've been here for 6 months. He said very specifically, we're leaving here because of the way the institution treats black employees. And that was the
Dismissed as a result of guidance from the Department of Education, avoiding race-conscious hiring. How does that translate to retaliation if these employees had positive reviews that you shared?
You know, let's start with ending the doublespeak. That is one of the fundamental problems of MATC's decision, to rely on and hide behind an unlawful executive order by the President of the United States. It was deemed unenforceable. I mean, when you adopt their language to say we don't want diversity, and then you eliminate, you're buying into their idea that we're going to discriminate and only white men are going to sit at the table. Let's be real about that. And so when you eliminate positions based on race under the guise of, oh, the Trump administration says we cannot pay attention to diversity anymore, that's retaliation. And we need to get it straight. We need to change the framework. The administration's viewpoint is fundamentally wrong. Let's get to it. It's immoral. We would not have us as a community of human beings making up a country. Right? I mean, you know, my grandfather came from Denmark. That was mainly an all-white place, right? 5-6 million people, all white. What made this country profoundly important and successful was our belief in humanity. And Trump's attack on it, and this institution's hiding behind that, is fundamentally cowardice. I hope that answers.
Let me add one more piece to the puzzle. I want you, when you go back and look through the stories, I want you to look for the word mandatory. I want you to look for language that says, we had to do this. I want you to look for language that said this was our only option. You will not find it. You will find some contortion of words, some tweaking of words. The young man back there is writing now, but you will not find them say this is something we had to do. This was the most egregious of options. Other institutions have made shifts based on what happened in Washington, D.C. without firing people with nearly 100 years of experience. That was not mandatory. There were other options. The other thing to consider in particular, like I said, she cannot speak right now because she has litigation pending, but Dr. Eva Martinez-Paulus, not long after she raised concerns not only to the administration, but to the MATC board about the treatment of black employees in particular, did she find herself on the other end of complaints and ultimately terminated. Lastly, I'll say specifically to your question, this is a group and an organization that was always advocating on behalf of students of color, always advocating based on policies and resources for students of color, and not everybody was pleased with that. Yes. How long they work for MATC? I know between them it was close to 80 years, some 2 over 20. 29, 25, 23 in 5 years. Yeah. Right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, what's your concern about Cruz, Dr. Cruz, and the board not reaching out to the community of color and trying to resolve this issue? So I know he's had information about what's being created here at MATC, the toxic work environment,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
He's had that information when he first came in, and it's been over a year that he's been here, and he hasn't reached out to the community to try to resolve this issue. So what do you think that, what's the next step for this group to do?
Well, I think that's both the challenge and opportunity. Dr. Cruz probably, I won't give him much of a pass. I'll give him a little bit. He probably would not know that about our city, about how few institutions have substantive and deep relationship with communities of color. Most don't, and that's why we're on the bottom of so many lists. But this institution did, and in particular, its best connections to communities of color, not the high level photo op, press release relationships, but the deep relationships with the community-based organizations, with the churches, with the troops on the ground. Those relationships were over here in multicultural. And so that's a challenge for Milwaukee in its entirety. This institution has always had a unique opportunity to touch the community in a different way. And so if and when there's ever a serious commitment to build relationship with community, that will make a difference. It will be transformative for this institution. It'll go from being a performer that's here, it'll be a competitive advantage, it'll be very dynamic. But just like the rest of Milwaukee, until we really deal with that issue of cultivating authentic relationships where you can hold one another accountable and support one another, it will always almost rise to the level of mediocrity.
Can
Yes.
either Tanya or Annabelle share any examples of times they worked with students in a
Uh,
multicultural capacity?
Working with student stories.
They're going to respectfully decline.
But earlier you saw a couple of students here. You know, Mr. Alford was one, James Watkins, who was here earlier too. You'll find plenty of students. It's not about me, but I was blessed to lead that department for about 5 years. And it was very much a safe place, a home away from home. Students would say, I feel different when I walk through these doors because there was a plugged in relationship. It was a place where people cultivated relationship, not transactional, but people would come back year after they graduated. So they really had a depth of relationship with all students too, not just students of color, but all students, white students, students from different countries. It was truly the rainbow coalition of our city, really. Other questions? All right, thank you all. Take care. God bless
Thank you all.